Namo Narayana. Welcome back, everybody. Today, I'm going to be reacting to all the videos I could find by Sadhguru, who says that the Kali Yuga is dead and the Kalki Avatar, I guess, is coming sooner than later. This came up on my YouTube feed recently, and I'm like, Sadhguru says what? I didn't really pay that much attention to him. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't watch the video, but I then started Googling, and I found that this is something he's talked about for a few years now. And I'm like, okay, I want to investigate this. So, of course, you know the way we do things, we investigate it together. The chat window is open, so literally we can investigate it together. So I went through and I have collected all the videos that he has that I could find. There might be more out there, but these are all the ones that came up. We're going to be doing 2 episodes because, quite honestly, it's a very warm day and my throat's a little rough. I was doing some cleaning, so I've been coughing, lots of dust stuff. And so I don't really want to sit here for 2 hours. So this will be like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then we'll do the other videos later. And this way we get a good view of what he's saying. So feel free to chime in on the chat if you would like. I am going to open today saying my bias. That I am incredibly skeptical. Okay? No, just 100% skeptical about what he says. And I'm going to give you my bias right now, and we're going to then see if my bias is proven or disproven, or I'm going to see if maybe I've completely misinterpreted what he's saying, so I'm just kind of jumping to a conclusion. I really don't know. I haven't watched any of these videos, so I might be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm coming at this with a particular point of view, and I'm going to detail it. Before I do that, I just want to say, when I was Googling his videos, I found that he's not the only one who has said this. I saw some other videos that the Kali Yuga is dead by some other Sanatana Dharma teachers. I wasn't familiar with them. The videos were a few years old, so I don't know if this is his idea. No, let me rephrase that. I don't know if he's the first one to share this and then those teachers copied, or if other folks have been saying this, or if he came. Let me rephrase this, and then this will give you my bias. I think he might have made this up. I think this might be him. But it may not be him. It might be that he was online and saw other people talking about this, and he kind of then jumped on the bandwagon. Even though there wasn't a bandwagon, he then created the bandwagon. Okay? That's part of my bias, is that this isn't a thing. He's made it into a thing. Or he saw some teachers say it, and they're not famous, so no one's going to know them, and then he sort of takes credit for this revelation. But it's really not his revelation. I mean, it could be that a bunch of people have all came to the same conclusion at the same time, but I'm very skeptical about that. So that's my first bias. I am only going to be reacting to videos that I found on the Kalki Avatar and the end of the Kali Yuga. So this is not a reaction video to Sadhguru, like the reaction videos I've been doing on gurus, like the one I just did on Dr. Pillai. This is just on this topic that he is discussing. So I'm going to try, I may slip, excuse me, but I'm going to try to keep all my comments exclusively to the topic at hand. I am not going to talk about Sadhguru's reputation. I'm not going to talk about his philosophy, his other things, anything outside of this video. I'm going to leave that to a later video where I just look at him holistically. But today is just the topic of the Kali Yuga. Is he right? Is he not right? I don't know. Is he a great teacher? Is he a fraud? Whatever I say, I'm going to be criticized. I know. So as you know, I will just tell my feeling. And if you agree, great. If you don't agree, great. Thank you for watching. Either way. So, that being said, I want to give 2 more biases that I have coming into this. So first of all, And again, I might have him completely misinterpreted, and he might be talking about something completely different, in which case I've just ranted on about the Kali Yuga in a context that's irrelevant to this video. But oh well. Um, so, the first thing I want to say is I do not believe the Kali Yuga is done. I believe he is wrong. I believe, for whatever reason, he's spouting this, but he is wrong. Because if he is right, that means that the scriptures we have either misinterpreted or mistranslated, or mistranslated and misinterpreted. But we have the wrong information, and we have had the wrong information for centuries. Vivekananda didn't say it was going to end in a century or less than a century. I don't know anyone else who said Kali Yuga was going to end in a century from the 1800s, Ramakrishna. I don't know anyone who said this. So, if he has this revelation, then that means we have literally spent 1,000 years misinterpreting the scriptures. And that is insane. But here's the thing. If we've misinterpreted this one thing, that means everything could be misinterpreted. That means we have everything wrong. Because how do we know now what's right and what's wrong? If we have the dates wrong on the Kali Yuga, if we have the foretelling of the Kalki Avatar wrong, and we've had this wrong, and the Upanishads we've misinterpreted or we've mistranslated, how can we trust anything now? How do we know what's right? How do we know what's wrong? We don't. So everything we have is now thrown to the wind. This is the problem. It's one thing to say, like I do, we need to change something. I say this with the caste system, and I say it with the way Hinduism treats women. We need to change that because it doesn't work for our world. It doesn't work for an industrialized world. I don't think it does. But that's different than just saying the scriptures are completely wrong and blah. Now, I do criticize things that are said in the scriptures. For example, I criticize universalism because I can show how things have changed, and we have this thing called Neo-Vedanta, which is really 200 years old. And it comes out of the missionaries, and we have actual evidence that they went in and manipulated Sanatana Dharma to convince people to follow Christ. We have actual evidence that the British missionaries wanted to convert all of India and wipe Hinduism off the earth, but they didn't want to use the sword because they saw what was happening with the Muslims, so they used a different approach, manipulation. We have absolute proof of that it's even happening today with people who go to India, that they look the part and act the part and talk the part to get you to convinced to, move. That is different than saying all of us have had the scriptures misinterpreted for 1,000 to 2,000 to 4,000 years. All of us are wrong. So you see, I can show that modern Neo-Vedanta is wrong because we have a historical record of a complete change in Hindu scripture and translation. Everything just changes in the 1800s. It doesn't develop naturally. But this is saying that Sadhguru is right and that we're all wrong. Now, how could he be right? How could he be right? Is he a god? Would this make him God? Would this make him the greatest prophet ever? A lot of people are going to say he's not. A lot of people say he's a fraud and a trickster. I don't know. That's outside the topic of this. But if he's right about this, then you see how many question marks it starts pulling up? We now no longer know if anything we believe is valid. Because how can we judge? If we have this fact wrong, how can we judge any other fact? We have no litmus test. We don't even have a litmus test for this fact. So it's all up in the air. But the fact that I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to touch on the bigger picture of who he is and his reputation. But it just, for me, opens up the Pandora's box. And it puts everything into question. And so I err on the side of caution, going, we have no historical record of the Kali Yuga ending in the last few years. No one's ever talked about that. No one has ever predicted about it. And no other guru seems to have confessed that. So I'm very skeptical and thinking that this is either him, or he's pulled it from somebody, or he's said it and then other gurus have jumped on the bandwagon. Because that's actually how things happen. One guru says it, then somebody else says it, then somebody else says it. I do that. We all do that. But that doesn't mean something is correct just because something is said. The phone call situation. Um, and now we have to say, if he has this revelation, that would that mean all the other gurus that are out there are now wrong? Because none of them have had this revelation, so they must be all be wrong. We're not in the Kali Yuga, and none of them know it. Think about that. But if we're not in the Kali Yuga anymore, or we're about to be not in it, I don't know if it's over yet or if it's about to be over. What does that mean for Hinduism? How does Hinduism survive? What happens to Hinduism? What happens to Sanatana Dharma? Is this of value anymore? What does it mean to say we're not in this yuga? What does it mean? There's so many questions here, and well, I don't have the answers yet, but maybe I will. So there's one more point I said that I am skeptical, and I'm just laying this all out there because you guys know who watch me regularly. I prefer to be as transparent as possible. So if you come at me with something, oh, well, you said this, I'm like, yeah, but I already noted that fact going into this. I'm willing to say I might be wrong. So you can't call me out for being wrong. I like to be very transparent. Let me take a drink, though. So the next point I want to talk about is anyone who talks about the end of the world. I kind of go, okay, are you bored or something? So my personal belief is that we are in the Kali Yuga and we've got another, I don't know, 14,000 years on it. Not 1,400, 14,000, maybe 15, 20,000, I don't know. It's a long time. Then I guess there's another Yuga after us. So the world is not about to end. And anyone who says it is, the end is nigh. Look, Trump is president. The end is nigh. Yeah, no, whatever. Nobody says that. No book says this. That is accurate. The Bible doesn't really say that. It's all interpretation, and I think it's all garbage. I personally think that the Hindu scriptures are right. Why do I think they're right? Because they have actually traced the age of the earth going backwards. So how old is this earth? The Puranas have actually given it an age that's only like 500,000 or so off from what science says. Now, it didn't used to be like that. A century ago, science was much farther apart. It was like 1.5 million, 2 million years off. And then as we've studied more and more, the age of the earth in science has gotten longer and longer. You could do the whole cliche of, well, once upon a time, Christians said the earth was 6,000 years old, and now a century later, we say it's 4 million. It's that situation. Well, the Puranas have a date, and science has a date, and they're not that far apart. So my assumption is as science gets on and on and on, we may find that date in the Puranas to be exactly on target. Now, what could happen is it's too short, and science shows that the world's even older than we think. But there's no other religious text which is so close to what science is saying when it comes to the age of the earth, other than the Puranas. No religious text outside of Sanatana Dharma has the age of the earth. You have to do manipulation with it. Well, the earth was created in 7 days, 6 days, but you see those days actually mean, they're actually like, they last a year or 20 years, or each year is, each day is 1,000 this, and well, where do you get this information that each day is 1,000 years or something? Where do you get that? You just made it up to make it work. No other book has this history other than Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is not always perfect in its science, but in this case, it's really close. So when I look at that and I go, okay, the Puranas say we've been around this long, and they say we have this much more time to go. Okay, we can't predict the future, but I'm willing to give them a little bit of room. So that's why I think the Sanatana Dharma scriptures are correct. And I think other things are not. I just wanted to explain that. I think I went a little wordy there. So I have a comment that came up. It says, I think Kalki is not a human. It's like a culture diversity or something, a change in society. I will not respond to this because I don't know how he is responding to it. So I'm just going to hold on, and we're going to find out together what Sadhguru says. But before I do, I want to finish my comment. I did something interesting in preparation for today's show. I got on Wikipedia and looked at a list of all the end of the world predictions that have been made since I was born. And that's kind of what this is. This is sort of an end of the world prediction, or it's a change in the world, or something's happening of some huge like cultural diversity or something. It's a huge change. So I was born in 1977. So, according to Wikipedia, what was has supposed to have happened from 77, 78, actually the middle of 77, 78, 79, all the way up, I have supposedly, if we listen to our prophets, I have lived through an apocalyptic war that started a few months after I was born. I have lived through Armageddon, a rapture, a second Armageddon, a nuclear holocaust followed by God appearing. I have lived through the prediction that my parents would be the last generation, as there would be no world past 1981. I've also lived through the second coming, the end of the world again, the third Armageddon, which would only be prevented if we vibrated in harmony, Jesus coming again, a second rapture, a third rapture was predicted, a nuclear war that would end all life. Jesus returns again. It was predicted. There's yet another Armageddon. I lived through a fourth rapture, a fifth rapture, the second coming, a fourth Armageddon, a sixth and seventh rapture, the end of the world based on a 6,000 year timeline. Also, God would appear in a flying saucer in my lifetime, and supposedly, I guess this happened according to the prophets. 1999 was doomsday as predicted by Nostradamus, so that was the end of the world in 99. You all remember that? And then there was another end of the world predicted. All life would be destroyed. There's another end of the world, yet again, another nuclear holocaust, a great tribulation. A comet would collide into the earth and destroy us. Christ would return. There would be the last judgment. And everything I just said was predicted to have happened between the years, or it was going to happen between the years of 1977 and 1999. So if we believe the prophets, I have lived through all these things. And man, I'm so happy to have a house, given the world has ended all these times. That's just into the year 1999. So when someone predicts the end of the world, I'm kind of like, yeah, you're looking for attention, aren't you? Because, folks have been doing this a lot. Um, and that's ignoring Halley's Comet and a few natural disasters. So if you're outside of America watching this, sorry, it's a little late. I have no idea what the time thing is. It's 2 o'clock p.m. here in America. Please catch this show. It'll be available streaming and immediately, and it's available on numerous platforms, as you can see in the description below. Anyways, I just want to keep going on this list to show you why I just don't believe Sadhguru is right before we're going into this. So according to according to Wikipedia, in the year 2000, life was so hard that God came and judged us. Y2K would disrupt the world and bring on the Antichrist. We would also have the second coming. The planets would crash into the sun. The Antichrist would appear. Antichrist would appear a second time, according to someone else. There would be a second coming in the year 2000. We're only in the year 2000, according to Edgar Cayce. Heaven would be established in the year 2000. We'd have the end of the world. There'd be an end of the world again. Christ would return again. Oh, and there'd nuclear war. All those things are just in the year 2000. Because, since the year 2000, here it is 2024, the world was predicted to hit the following things. Aliens would cause a pole shift. That's a creative one, actually. Nuclear war. Someone else said we'd have nuclear war. The earth would be destroyed. Someone else said we'd have an apocalypse. There'd be an end of the world again. Another rapture. Jesus returns. He returns so much. He's got frequent flyer miles. There'd be another rapture. Comet would collide with us yet again. Jesus would collide. Oh, all the governments would fail. And the people would start walking through walls. That's right, folks. I'm currently putting my hand through my phone because I can walk through walls. The earth would be destroyed by alien invasion since the year 2000. Fire would destroy the earth and Jesus would come. The blood moon prophecy would occur. That would bring the end times. We would have the days of judgment. Aliens would destroy the earth. There'd be a rapture. There'd be another end of the world. And then there's another end of the world predicted. Don't even ask me who's predicted all these things. And that's it. Those are all the things that supposedly have happened since 1977. by people who had an insight to God and were a great guru and a great teacher. And none of them have happened. None of them have even come close. So when Sadhguru comes up and goes, hey, hey, man, end of the world. Yeah, yeah, I'll see it. I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. So I am so skeptical going into this. Maybe he's talking about something different, not the end of the world. Maybe it's just a great change, as the commenter said, and that's a very legitimate point. Blind World Gaming, super, super legitimate point. But I am skeptical about any end of the world talk. If you'd like to see this list, like I said, if you get into Wikipedia, just type in end of the world. It's been a busy, 47 years. I keep having to, rebuild my life. And Jesus just keeps coming back. Anyways, let's get on with this. Let's rearrange the house. And there it is. So, like I said, we're only watching a few videos, and then we'll watch an equal number later on. I just like getting the full picture. So let's see, what do we got here? The first one, I've put these only in order by time, so we'll start with the short ones and then we'll end with the long one. You see, we've got a mix, and I kind of tried to just randomly choose what we'd visit today and what we'll visit later. So Kali Yuga's ending, how Kalki would come, Sadhguru decodes the myth of the Kalki Avatar. We're not in the Kali Yuga. So we'll see. We shall see. And as always, I'm not too sure of the volume, how it goes. Might be too loud, might be too quiet. I have no clue how it comes across there. But yeah, let's dive into the first video.
Kalki is supposed to come down on a white horse. These dimensions of perception, mental perception, visual perception, by smell, and now, when it comes to Kali, human beings become totally verbal, their mouth becomes the biggest thing. So you need to understand this. The solar system is going through the yugas like this. If you are in tune with it, you are also going with these yugas. If you are above it, you can stay wherever you want. If you are stuck in your own things, the planet may be in Satyuga, you may be in your Kali Yuga. So every individual is still free to either transcend the yuga or be trampled by the yuga.
Let's pause here. I want to make a comment that was brought up by a commenter, because it's just an interesting comment for those of you who aren't watching this on YouTube and you can't see the comments. So, Blind World Gaming says to me, Kalki is the prophesied 10th avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu, which is true. He is expected to appear in the future at the end of the current age, the Kali Yuga, to restore righteousness and destroy evil. Yes, that's what I believe. That's actually my take, is that this next avatar of Vishnu will appear, and it's not, I know there's so many similarities with Jesus here and the Armageddon, and I don't want to go there. I just don't want to go there, but yeah, evil will be destroyed, righteousness will come, and this is a great thing. It could also be, though, this commenter also put that Kalki could be less a human or deity of some sort and more just some change. I don't know. These are all good points. Yeah. Trying to stick with what Sadhguru says, and so he says here, though, that if I understood what he just said, you can have the Kali Yuga, but you might not be with the Yuga. Like, you could still be in, or you could have we could be in the next Yuga, but you're still stuck in the Kali Yuga. So I guess he is meaning it's like a psychological state. You haven't changed with it. that doesn't make sense, because I know I'm sitting here in the year 2024. I mean, am I really in the year 2000? Am I really in high school right now? And I mean, there's people who act like they're still in school, but what does he mean by that? Now, according to what I've read of Krishna in the beginning of the Kali Yuga, and this is based on Swami Prabhupada's writings and ISKCON publications, the Kali Yuga started with the death of Krishna, but it wasn't like one day everyone woke up and changed their calendars and boom, we're here. It was like people didn't even realize, and life just got worse and worse and worse. So we had it really good, and then it just got worse, and it's continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, I'm one of these believers who say that the scriptures are right. I did a video on this, how the scriptures predict that the Kali Yuga would be horrible, and it kind of is horrible. But it wasn't like one day you wake up and suddenly it's sunny out. It just was like, oh, it's cloudy, and it's even cloudier the next day, and it's never sunny again. And it just sort of, so maybe that's what he's saying. Like, it'll happen, but it won't happen instantly, and we'll just sort of slowly come into it. Maybe. Well, let's keep going.
Or ride the yuga as it is. All the three possibilities are there. So Kali, or the end of the Kali, Kalki is supposed to come down on a white horse with wings. Don't get yourself a horse with wings. Get yourself a horse with legs. This is funny, isn't it?
That is funny. I don't see horses referenced that much in Hinduism. And I've never seen a horse with a wing reference, so I don't know where this reference comes from out of the scriptures. I'm sure there are, what do we call them, linguists or whatever, historians who go, well, actually this was borrowed from another religion. It's very interesting. There's Garuda the snake, there's all sorts of creatures, but I don't think I've ever read about a winged horse. Now, I'm thinking of Adidas Semraj, who, if you watch the show, you know I was a devotee of his for a bit, and I've just pushed him off. He wrote a huge scriptural text, which is sort of like the foundation for all his other scriptural texts, and it's called the Dawn Horse Testament. And I think he uses the image of the horse with wings. But I don't know where this comes from. If you know where the horse comes from out of scriptures, I'd be very interested. Please let me know if you know. I don't. I haven't heard it before. I'm always interested to see scriptural references, is really what I'm saying.
But it was metaphorically spoken because the light or the intelligence need not necessarily come from you. It is coming because of a heavenly possibility, because the solar system is moving out of that phase. Your intelligence will come out bright, and it's a gift from nature. It is dropping upon you. It is a celestial gift. Because it's a celestial gift, and there are certain constellations which are seen as a flying horse. You know this? There are certain constellations which are seen as a flying horse. They said it will descend upon you.
That's Pegasus. That's not Hindu though, right? Pegasus isn't a Hindu. I gotta look this up, because sometimes I don't know. Pegasus is the flying horse, and is a winged horse in Greek mythology, according to Wikipedia, because it's easy to get to. Greek mythology. He was sired by Poseidon. So, are we saying that Kali will come on a winged horse that looks just like the Greek winged horse? I mean, it's a white horse with wings, which is Pegasus, which is a white horse with wings that someone rides. That's just very coincidental. So in that case, I want to see the scriptural references to this white horse that's coming with Kali. You know me, I'm very particular about combining religions together.
And destroy your darkness. If you want to destroy darkness, nobody needs to fly on a horse and come down. If you just turn on
Oh,
a small light, darkness gets destroyed. Darkness is the most fragile thing. But even that people can't get rid of because…
okay, so I did some Wikipedia here. So there is reference to Kalki riding on a white horse. According to Wikipedia, Kalki is depicted as the avatar who will rejuvenate existence by ending the darkest periods of Dharma and restoring Dharma. Yes. He is described as riding a white horse named Devadatta and wielding a fiery sword, which is interesting to me because Jesus wields a fiery sword. And that book came later. The portrayal of Kalki varies across the Puranas, and we also see him mentioned in Sikh and Buddhist texts. Okay, I want to find out more about this horse, so I'm just going to pause this video for a second. Rides a white horse. Actually, let's click, where's the name of that horse again? Devadatta, there's no link. Okay. So, according to Wikipedia, he rides a white horse, but the horse doesn't have wings. And there's on Wikipedia there's a statue and there's a drawing, and neither of them show a white horse with wings. And there's no mention of constellations here of Pegasus. So there is a mention of Kalki in the Agni Purana. Doesn't mention a horse though. And there's a mention of him in the Devi Bhagavata Purana and the Kalki Purana. But I don't see any reference to a white horse with wings in Sikh texts or Buddhist texts, according to Wikipedia. Okay, Wikipedia is not the end-all be-all, we know that, but it's a decent place just to start the conversation with. So now I'm like, okay, oh, here's a third picture of Kalki and Devadatta, and no wings. No wings. Yeah, that makes me question what Sadhguru is saying. So he's talking about Devadatta will be connected with we see Devadatta in the sky, even though that's actually Pegasus, but that's not what I'm seeing here. Yeah, that's funny that Wikipedia would completely skip out on the fact that the horse has wings and is related. He's essentially Pegasus in the sky. Oh, Sadhguru, what are you telling us? Of course, no one's read any of these Puranas. I haven't either, so no one's gonna know. But what are you telling us? Are you making this up? Ah.
because they're employing wrong methods. Suppose we turn off the lights and it's dark and you decide, suppose this hall is dirty, if I tell you clean it up, all of you with great enthusiasm, if you go, probably in 15 minutes' time you can have the hall cleaned up. Now the hall is dark, then I tell you, get this damn darkness out. If all of you go with great enthusiasm, till you die, if you do, still it will not go. But if we turn on a light, it will go. That is the nature of darkness. That is why a light being on a flying horse came down and took away the darkness.
Oh, okay, so…
Unless you have still allowed it to live within you.
I just want to restrict my comments to the Kali Yuga. He just said that is why a light being came to… So according to him, the Kalki Avatar has already come? I don't know. These are snippets, and I haven't watched these, so my information is coming at me from all directions, so I'm kind of just guessing here with the big picture. But already he said something that I couldn't find validated. But let's keep going
So
to the next
Kalki
one.
is to come, to end the age.
No.
To end
To
the
come.
age of darkness, he's supposed to come. See, the
Okay.
nature of time is such, nobody need to begin it, nobody need to end it. It goes on anyway. Nothing may happen to you in your life, but time will pass, isn't it? There's one thing you can be guaranteed of. So nobody has to begin an age and end an age. It is just that they said Kalki will come on a white horse, winged. So if horse has wings, it's a no good horse. Horse should have good legs. Am I saying something wrong? A horse should have 4 good legs. That's a good horse.
Again, where's the wings? I didn't see it. I'm gonna keep googling and watching this because I kind of want to
A
know.
horse which has wings is a lousy horse.
I don't know what.
Yes or no?
I
So
no, it flies.
obviously, they were talking about a white horse metaphorically, not as a horse. It is a metaphoric thing that brightness will arrive. When the age passes, the darkness will move out and…
See, there's a picture right there for anyone who's watching this and not doing a podcast of Kalki on the white horse, no wings. But now he's saying that this is metaphorical, the horse isn't real. So then we can't actually believe that Kalki is a person riding a horse. Is he going to take a taxi in? Which is kind of funny because here's this God coming in the future on a horse, but we have EVs now. We have electric automobiles. Why don't you ride one of those? They're way faster. We have trains, buses, boats, airplanes. Maybe the world of Star Trek will happen. We'll have transporters. Why are you coming on a horse? That's so slow. It's really slow. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you question. I question these scriptures. I'm like, okay, I know this is true, but on the other hand, do I know it's true? Because it's like, if God is coming in the future, why are you using backwards technology? Why not the best of technology to transport you from here to there? I mean, Kalki's going to come in on a horse and it's barely going to get down the block, and everyone else is going to drive by in their fast cars. You know, it's kind of like Jesus coming back with a sword versus like a machine gun. Like, why don't you use a machine gun, dude? I have a push and pull here, but I found another article. I'm just on Hinduism facts, so not Wikipedia. I just really want to find out where these wings are coming from. So according to this, Kalki Avatar is not mentioned in the Vedas. It simply is a word that means remover of darkness, or sorry, brilliant remover of darkness, which is found in the Vedic literature for Rudra, and then later Shiva, though Kalki is mentioned in many texts. So according to this, the horse is Garuda, who, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, who has manifested as a horse. There is nothing on Hinduism facts about astrology, seeing the horse in the sky, or wings. Kalki has children, though, 4 of them. And the main aim of Kalki's life would be to kill Kali and establish the Satya Yuga, and to also get rid of many sinful kings. Yeah, that's really weird that I can't find any reference to his horse. No pictures of it either. Yeah, I'm just skipping through this article. I don't want to go into all of Kalki. Yeah, okay. Well, alright. And then this talks about other things that… Yeah, so I don't know where he's got that. And now he's doing some symbolism of, well, the horse is really darkness and you have the darkness in you. And yeah, but I think he made that up. I think he's made this fact up.
brightness will arrive and it will destroy the darkness. If the hall is dark right now, if I turn on a light,
Is this the same one we
does it
just saw?
destroy the darkness?
If I repeat clips, we're just gonna let them play.
What is spoken metaphorically? What is expressed dialectically? Foolish scholars or exploiters along the way make it all into black and white facts, made-up facts. It is a metaphorical expression. As the solar system moves,
So, I'm sorry, he's telling us that this horse will have wings and fly with Kalki, but I can't validate that fact. So that is a made-up fact as of right now. As of right now. Better for the doubt. He's then critiquing people for making up facts because the truth is these stories are metaphorical. Well, why does he know they're metaphorical? And also, if they're metaphorical, then does that mean the gods aren't real? So there is no actual Rudra, it's all metaphor? Some people have proposed that. He's not the first to say that. But he's making up a fact and then criticizing others for making up a fact. It kind of can't, you can't really do that game and be seen as, I'm sorry, that's a joke. That's just the calling the kettle black. But then to say no, everyone has it wrong. These are all metaphorical stories. They're not actually true. They're just metaphor. There will be no horse. It's just a metaphor. Basically says that all the great scholars, all the great teachers from Swami Prabhupada to Swami Vivekananda to whoever are all wrong. The way I see this is these are, if we believe the stories is true, then these are real people of which we can learn lessons from them. So, you can read about the Kalki Avatar and derive a lesson from this. Okay, I should be good because it's going to help my karma and it's going to help the world and my karmic yoga, and it's just going to do good things. So we can derive a lesson from this, but there still is a Kalki Avatar. You know, like when you read about a historical figure, I read about Adolf Hitler, and I learned that that's really bad, and what he did was really bad, and we learn lessons from his life. That doesn't mean that he didn't exist or he's just a metaphor. He's an actual person with history, but we can learn from that. So that's the way I see it. It's not just eradicating the reality. It's just saying, no, here's a lesson we can learn from here's a lesson from the life of Mahatma Gandhi. Doesn't mean Mahatma Gandhi didn't exist and was just a metaphor. I disagree. He's basically saying a lot of our interpretations are wrong. These people have made up stuff. It's not real. All this stuff is metaphor. So we have scriptures that are just metaphors. And there are some metaphors out there. But we don't know which ones he's talking about. He's not citing scriptures. He's not giving his sources. So it's all very questionable.
It moves into a dark phase, and as it moves out, light arises. It will rain upon us. Even if you don't want to be, suddenly your brain will crackle and work better because you moved into a different age. I got a bright idea, not a dark idea. Understand? Because intelligence, always human beings have associated with light. So, the scripture said, once the solar system moves out of this, a brightness will arise. This is very beautifully expressed. In the different yugas, human beings use different dimensions of intelligence, different dimensions of communication. In the Satyuga, mind will be more important. Mind, not intellect. Mind will be more important. In Satyuga, people barely spoke because mind was the means of communication. They go to the extent of saying there was no physical conception.
Okay, I mentioned this in the last video, and I think it's simply his English. He keeps talking in the past tense. Remember in the first video I said, did he say it? It did. He just said in the Satyuga, mind was this. Well, that means that it's already happened, but from the way he's talking, I feel like it hasn't already happened, but this just may be his English. He's just putting it in the past tense, when really it should be in the future tense. So in the future, mind will rule over communication and they won't talk as much. Maybe.
It happened mentally.
It happened. It will happen.
When they moved into the Treta Yuga, ice became important.
Or actually he's talking about a past yuga, but there also may be a language thing that I'm being overly critical on. I just might be overly critical.
So you will see when life moved into Treta Yuga, the language of people who lived in Treta Yuga are talking always about… One of the basic greetings in India was, "I see you." I think recently this Hollywood movie made this very popular, "I see you," Avatar. This is called as netra sparsha, that you can touch somebody with your eyes. When it moved further down, the breath became very important. We were already looking at this probably today morning or yesterday, that wherever the life energies are very high, there you will see your sense of smell will become very, very strong and sensitive. You will see this in the forest. Your sense of smell is more important than your eyes, ears and your brain. Means you can just know what's happening with the person. These dimensions of perception, mental perception, visual perception, by smell, and now when it comes to Kali, human beings become totally verbal, their mouth becomes the biggest thing. So you need to understand this. The solar system is going through the yugas like this. If you are in tune with it, you are also going with these yugas. If you are above it, you can stay wherever you want. If you are stuck in your own things, the planet may be in Satyuga, you may be in your Kali Yuga. So every individual is still free to either transcend the yuga or be trampled by the
Yeah,
yuga.
this doesn't make sense to me. So it's basically we have an era of time, but you can have your own era in time. But if you're in the Kali Yuga and the world's in the Satyuga, then are you how do that then there really a Satyuga? Because if a lot of us aren't in it, how do we have it? It doesn't make sense to me. His time thing doesn't make sense. I'm
Or
trying.
ride the yuga as it is. All the three possibilities are there. So Kali, or the end of the Kali, Kalki is supposed to come down on a white horse with wings. Don't get yourself a horse with wings, get yourself a horse with legs. This is funny, isn't it? But it was metaphorically spoken because the light or the intelligence need not necessarily come from you, it is coming because of a heavenly possibility, because the solar system is moving out of that phase. Your intelligence will come out bright and it's a gift from nature. It is dropping upon you. It is a celestial gift. Because it's a celestial gift and there are certain constellations which are seen as a flying horse, they said it will descend upon you and destroy your darkness. If you want to destroy darkness, nobody needs to fly on a horse and come down. If you just turn on a small light, darkness gets destroyed. Darkness is the most fragile thing, but even that people can't get rid of because they're employing wrong methods. Suppose we turn off the lights and it's dark and you decide, suppose this hall is dirty, if I tell you clean it up, all of you with great enthusiasm if you go, probably in 15 minutes' time you can have the hall cleaned up. Now the hall is dark, then I tell you, get this damn darkness out. If all of you go with great enthusiasm, till you die, if you do, still it will not go. But if you turn on a light, it will go. That is the nature of darkness. That is why a light being on a flying horse came down and took away the darkness. Unless you have still allowed it to live within you.
So we're getting repetition here, and I'm sorry about that. They're taking one video and regurgitating it, but I just looked up Pegasus. So this is the winged horse from Greek mythology. It is one of the 48 constellations listed by Ptolemy, and is one of 88 that are recognized today. How funny! It consists of just let's see. The Babylonians had a constellation called Iku, which means field, which had 4 stars. 3 of these were later part of the Greek constellation Hippos, or Pegasus today. And then there was a myth that has grown around Pegasus. But it's In Chinese astronomy, the constellation, they don't have Pegasus. Instead, part of Pegasus is found the black tortoise of the north. Now, in Hindu astronomy, according to Wikipedia, Pegasus is contained within the 25th Nakshatra lunar mansion, Parva Bhadrapada, and it represents a bedstead that was a resting place for the moon. So that's the Pegasus constellation. It is not seen as Pegasus, it's seen as the bedstead, resting place for the moon. According to Sadhguru, though, Hindus saw this and went, oh, that is a winged white horse. But according to Wikipedia, we don't see this until the Greek culture, and according to them, in Hindu astronomy, this isn't what we see. Because it's a different constellation. So when he says that Hindus are seeing Pegasus in the sky, and well, it's not Pegasus, he doesn't even use the name of the horse, and this winged horse that Kalki is going to ride, none of this is adding up as anything but him making stuff up. So the chances of the Hindus, excuse me, and the Greeks looking up and seeing this shape of stars being a white winged horse is pretty small, unless there's overlap. But the fact that that's not what they saw, yeah, no, he's made this up. And he's made up this interesting story about this constellation. He's combined a bunch of things. Don't know where he's gotten this. He's not citing any sources. And now he's turning into a lesson on good and bad. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no. Sadhguru is debunking himself as a source of wisdom. Let's keep going.
Well, during the Kali Yuga, which ended 2000 plus years ago.
Oh. So Kali Yuga ended when Jesus came.
That at least in the news channels, they're still talking, this is Kali Yuga, because Krishna said it's Kali Yuga. When?
So wait a minute, I have to rewind this. Did he just say the Kali Yuga ended, but…
Kali Yuga, which ended 2000 plus years ago.
Okay. But we say it's Kali Yuga because Krishna said it, so therefore he's calling Krishna a liar? Let's find out what he says.
That at least in the news channels, they're still talking, this is Kali Yuga, because Krishna said it's Kali Yuga. When? 5124 years ago. So since then, the cumulative aspect of Kali, which lasts for 2592 years, is over, and Dwapara is also 2592 years. That will get over sometime in 2082. That means another 58 years, is it? Nearly 60 years. If you live for another 60 years, you'll see Treta Yuga. This doesn't mean on one day it'll become Treta. See, when we…
So this idea that we have another 14,000 years, whatever, which is what I've read, that's wrong. We only have a couple decades. Where's AOC with the end of the Earth? Oh, that's another one. That's right, AOC predicted the end of the Earth due to climate change. That wasn't on my list at the beginning of the show. Yeah…
It doesn't mean one fine day it's winter. It happens. Summer, it's not like one day suddenly it became summer, it slowly happens.
But he sounds legit because he gives you an exact date. Well, 256 blah 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 days ago, this happened. 357… When you give an exact date like that, people are likely to believe you. Oh, well, okay, wow, your numbers are so legit, why would you be wrong? He doesn't tell you where the numbers are coming from, he doesn't tell you anything. But he could be wrong.
So what you're calling as yugas is a kind of a larger season, larger scape of seasons. In these seasons, in winter,
I'll work with
trees
that.
are one way, animals are another way. In spring, they're…
I've seen that yuga's represented by seasons. So, and that's actually yeah, that's okay. That's a nice
another way, in
metaphor.
some other another way. Similarly, life on this planet will be different ways in these different yugas because this is a super seasonal system. So Kali is a time when we are furthest end of the elliptical cycle. Because of that, there are many ways to look at it. One important thing is, see, among the 5 bodies or the 5 layers of bodies that we carry, particularly with reference to human beings, the physical body or Annamaya kosha, mental body or Manomaya kosha, energy body or Pranamaya kosha, and Vijnanamaya kosha or the etheric body. The question is always about how much Annamaya kosha do you have, how dominant is your Annamaya kosha, or how dominant is your Manomaya kosha, or how dominant is your etheric or Vijnanamaya kosha. Accordingly, you will function. So these seasons in some way determine this. One can see in the 4 seasons that we see, in this country, in this at 11 degrees latitude, you may not notice it so much, but it is there. Only because they noticed it, Tamil Nadu has Margali Masam and Magha Masam, various other… across the country, everybody recognized that month as a low-spirited month, and so people are doing things to enhance themselves. But if you go to temperate countries, significantly different between winter situations and spring situations, phenomenal difference. You can't believe you're in the same world. If you go in the winter, like everything looks like it's the end of the world. Spring comes, boom, everything is back. So, at least in this part of the hemisphere or the northern half of the hemisphere, it is like this. It is reverse in the southern hemisphere, but the same things happen. So similarly, in the super cycle also the same thing happens. But in terms of human beings, whether your physical body is dominant or mental body is dominant, energetic body is dominant or etheric body is dominant, depends on where these regular yearly cycles are also like that to some extent, but the super cycle decides a lot more. In which yuga you are determines how much etheric body. This does not mean it's a determining factor, absolutely. It is not an absolute, it is an influence.
That makes sense.
People are going about saying, see, the moment you have prejudice about something, somebody becomes a sinner and somebody becomes a saint. How does this happen? You set some values. If somebody cannot live up to that, they are sinners. If somebody can live up to that, they are saints. But these values keep changing from geography to geography, age to age, time to time, they're changing. That's not the important thing. The important thing is we understand that as we sit here, we are who we are as a consequence of what we are doing within ourselves. Now the question is only, is what we are doing within ourselves happening consciously or unconsciously? If we are doing it consciously, the consequence would be the way we want it. If we are doing it unconsciously, the consequence is random, and the random consequence may be sometimes very painful, sometimes troublesome to you, largely to others. Well, during the Kali Yuga, which ended 2000 plus years ago, these were called the Dark Ages, because human beings did terrible things to each other, and not only did terrible things, they did it large scale. That doesn't mean we did not do terrible things in Dwapara Yuga, we also did. But still, it is not the norm, at least we know it's wrong. That's a big difference. If you're doing something terrible, at least you know this is not the thing to do. You think that's the right thing to do, then it's a different case because there's no room for correction. That will become the way of the world itself, which is what it was in the past. Many things that we think is impossible that human beings can do were normally done in the past and accepted as the right thing to do. So, we're just close to Treta Yuga, we don't have to wait for it. See, it didn't wait, it's not yet summer, but already it's making us sweat. Why don't we also be one step ahead of times? So this is why it's very important. Whether the previous generations put the foundation for something or not determines how much the next generation will build, isn't it? This goes for a house, this goes for a nation, this goes for your consciousness. How much foundation have people will build will determine how much the future generations will do. So this is where we are in terms of time. You may not see the glorious palace that will be built on top of it, but at least you made the foundations and maybe you built a mock room and enjoyed it also, a little bit of palace, which we are beginning to in many ways. There are a whole lot of people going on propagating, life is getting worse day by day, life is getting worse day by day. But please look at it, how people lived here 500 years ago, how we are living today. Isn't everything better? Everything, especially ladies. You have to say big yes. Yes. Because for women on this planet, life has never been this good ever, all over the world.
Okay, so the points he was making there were actually really good. Those are very interesting. What he just said though, life for women has never been this good. Yeah, I agree. All over the world, women in the Taliban, women in the sex industry in England and Asia and Africa, girl babies being killed in China, women in South Korea, they have it the best ever. All over this world is big. Whenever we say statements like this, these are such generalities that are literally almost easy to debunk, hard to prove. They're easy to debunk because logically we can just go, you're talking about too many people. But I don't like generalities like that. That's the sociologist in me speaking. Because you can't make a statement all over the world, women have it better, when women under the Taliban have been told they can't go to college anymore. They had it better. Thank you, Joe Biden, for ruining it. So he said that the Kali Yuga ended 2,000 years ago. But he doesn't really say why. He doesn't really specify, or he's not saying it. I don't know. He changes his wording, and I don't know why he says it ended. He hasn't given us any evidence of why it ended, other than we had the Dark Ages and they were really bad. But that doesn't mean they ended 2,000 years ago. It could have ended, what, 1,000 years ago? 1,500 years ago? And and then wouldn't it mean that the Kali Yuga was really only a few thousand years long? I don't quite get it. So my throat's bothering me. My eyes are watering. We're going to watch one more video. I just cannot sit through more. There's a longer one that's 22 minutes, and I just really can't do it today. But we're going to watch one more that's 11 minutes long. And then we're going to call it here. Plus, it's been about an hour. So we're just going to call it here. I'm very confused anyways.
This whole thing is going on, that at least in the news channels, they're still talking, this is Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga.
Oh no, so we're gonna have a reaction to a reaction video. Well, that's okay, let's do it. Let's see what she says.
Because Krishna said it's Kali Yuga, 5,124 years ago. So since then, the cumulative aspect of Kali, which lasts for 2,509…
If she speaks in English, I'll keep with this. If she doesn't, then I'm just gonna bring it to a close.
92 years is over, and Dwapara is also 2,592 years. That will get over sometime in 2082. another 58 years, is it? If you live for another 60 years, you'll see Treta Yuga. This doesn't mean on one day it'll become Treta. See, when we say winter, it doesn't mean one fine day it's winter, it slowly happens. So what you're calling as yugas is a kind of a larger season, larger scape of seasons. In these seasons, in winter, trees are one way, animals are another way, in spring they're another way, in summer they're another way. Similarly, life on this planet will be different ways in these different yugas because this is a super seasonal system. So Kali is a time when we are furthest end of the elliptical cycle. Because of that, there are many ways to look at it. One important thing is, see, among the 5 bodies that we carry, the physical body or Annamaya Kosha, mental body or Manomaya Kosha, energy body or Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha or the etheric body. The question is always about how dominant is your Annamaya Kosha or how dominant is your Manomaya Kosha or how dominant is your etheric or Vijnanamaya Kosha. Accordingly, you will function. So these seasons in some way determine this, depends on where these regular yearly cycles are also.
See, this
like
is
that,
the beginning
to some
of where
extent.
he makes sense.
But the super cycle decides a lot more, in which…
But the rest of this, here I am hearing it for the second time and I'm still confused. So she doesn't seem to be talking, so I think I'm going to just kind of fast forward through this. Let me just see though if she does speak at the end. I'd be interested to hear what someone else has to say. Oh, what is this? Does she go into something different? Let's just find out.
Age of darkness or the age of…
are very significant
Okay,
because…
we'll stick with this young lady and let her speak and we'll see what she says. I'm more just curious. I'm not really interested in criticizing her because she's not necessarily the public figure we're focused on today.
I may not see it, I will not see it. But many of you young people will see it, that we are moving from Dwapara Yuga to Treta Yuga.
Namaskaram. Kali Yuga, often referred to as the age of darkness or the age of Kali, is the 4th and final stage in the traditional Hindu understanding of world cycles, following Satyuga, Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga. This concept is detailed in various Hindu scriptures, including the Puranas, particularly the Vishnu Purana, the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Purana. According to Hindu scriptures, Kali Yuga lasts for 4,32,000 years.
Thank you, young lady, for citing your scriptures. Thank you. I seriously mean that.
It is believed to have started approximately 5,000 years ago.
Okay, I agree.
Following the end of the Dwapar Yuga.
That's what I've learned.
The Bhagavad Purana describes various symbols of Kali Yuga, including the rise of greed, selfishness, and the loss of social norms and values.
I did a video on this. Actually, you can go back. I'll put a link down below. But I did a video on the references to, on the predictions that the Bhagavata Purana has for the future. I commented on this, on how it's completely different than other prophecies. Other prophecies I said in this video are like, in the future we're going to have war. Jesus comes back and aliens, and they're just very generic, or the population is going to increase. Like, yeah, that's how the planet's working. You know, it doesn't take much logic to see that the population increases or that we're going to have war, because we kind of always have war. But the Vishnu Purana gives more down-to-earth things that I find very interesting, and I think really validates the truthfulness of these. So even if the scriptures are sometimes wrong or off, it could, I said in another episode, if the gods don't exist, if all this is fake, if it's all a metaphor like Sadhguru says, we're left over with a philosophy that is like Confucianism or something. We're left over with a great philosophy. And I think we still have value here. But yeah, check that episode out.
The Vishnu Purana also outlines the degeneration of human values and the increase in disease, suffering and conflict during this age. It is prophesied that the end of Kali Yuga, Lord Vishnu will incarnate as Kalki, the final avatar,
Yep.
to restore dharma and destroy the adharma that prevails. This will mark the end of Kali Yuga and the beginning of a new cycle with Satyuga. The advent of Kalki will lead to the re-establishment of dharma, and the world will transition into a period of purity, truth and virtue. The Bhagavad Purana and other texts emphasize Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, as particularly suitable for Kali Yuga. Bhakti Yoga involves devotion to a personal deity, usually expressed through practices like chanting, singing hymns, and participating in religious rituals. The simplicity and emotional appeal of these practices make them accessible to a broad range of people, regardless of their social and economical status. One of the most popular expressions of Bhakti Yoga in Kali Yuga is the chanting of holy names of God, known as Nam Sankirtana. In Kali Yuga, the capacity for spiritual practices is diminished, so simplified methods are recommended. Meditation and mantra repetition are powerful tools for calming the mind and fostering inner peace. The repetition of a mantra such as Om or Hare Krishna can focus the mind and gradually lead to higher state of consciousness. Another effective practice is Yoga Nidra or yogic sleep. Is a guided meditation technique that promotes deep relaxation and stress relief. It involves lying down and following verbal instruction to bring awareness to different parts of the body, breath and visualization. This practice is particularly beneficial in Kali Yuga, where mental stress and distractions are out of control. Having a guru or spiritual teacher is highly recommended for navigating the spiritual path in Kali Yuga. A guru provides personalized guidance, supports the disciples' spiritual journey, and helps maintain discipline. The relationship between guru and disciple is considered sacred and central to many scripture traditions in Hinduism. Despite the prevalence of adharma in Kali Yuga, living a life based on dharma is crucial for spiritual growth. This involves practicing honesty, compassion, non-violence, and integrity in daily life. The Bhagavad Gita encourages individuals to perform their duties selflessly and to maintain equanimity in success and failure, which help cultivate a balanced and ethical life. Being a part of spiritual community provides mutual support and encouragement, which is essential in the hectic environment of Kali Yuga. Participating in group activities such as satsang, kirtans, and studying scriptures together can reinforce faith and commitment to the spiritual path. These communities create a collective energy that benefits all participants and provides a sense of belonging and purpose. While Kali Yuga presents number of challenges to spiritual growth, it also offers unique opportunities for developing a deep and sincere connection with the divine. By embracing practices like Bhakti Yoga, simplified meditation techniques, and living a life of righteousness, individuals can achieve significant spiritual progress. The guidance of a guru and the support of a spiritual community further enhance this journey. Ultimately, Kali Yuga's difficulties can become catalysts for profound spiritual transformation, leading individuals toward liberation and self-realization. Hope this video will help you. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel for more informative and interesting video. Namaskaram.
So that was a nice little summary, though it doesn't really say much about what Sadhguru was saying, so she wasn't really doing a reaction, but that was a nice little summary of everything that I've ever read, and I know a lot of that comes out of the ISKCON teachings. She did a summary of what I think and why I'm questioning what I'm hearing from Sadhguru. So let's just switch the house back to the way I have it, get rid of the opening, and yeah, I'm gonna end there because I'm just not feeling so hot. And yeah, yeah, I'm really questioning. I just, I, uh, I just question what we're hearing from Sadhguru, and I said at the beginning of the show that I don't trust people who talk about the end of the world, and I'm still holding to that position because I don't hear anything from him that validates his point. Um, he doesn't really say anything that tells me about Kali Yuga ending. It's all nice thoughts about your life, but there's nothing here really authoritatively laying it down. Look, the Kali Yuga ended A, B, C, and D, and then this happened A, B, C, and D, and now we have this lesson. We don't really get that. It's just, well, it ended, and there's a metaphor here in this thing that can't be validated in any website, and you know, oh, the good and the bad inside of you, and it's just it's almost like an attention grabber to get to the point. Because if he had a video that said doing good versus doing bad, I don't think anyone would watch it. But if he has a video that says the Kali Yuga has ended, people would watch it. So that's kind of what I'm getting out of this. That it's more clickbait. Now I did skip a huge video. I think I don't know. Did I just skip one? Uh, yeah, I just skipped one, and we'll do that one later. I just don't feel up for it today, and we'll do a bunch more, and we'll see if maybe in other videos there's some clarity. But truth be told, of the four videos I watched, two of them were taking the same material, and then well, the other two were taking the same material. So we actually haven't watched that much, and we haven't really gotten that much out of this. But such is the way. You see, my thing is, and I say this on every show, what I want for you, whoever you are, wherever you are, I want you to have a spiritual realization that makes everything pop, that enlightens you, that it's not a realization you go, well, I hope I have this realization tomorrow. No, you will, because you're above and beyond. You've found the secret of life, and now life can be lived fully. That's what I want. And when and I want to put you on that path and help you find that path. And all of our paths are slightly different. But sometimes we get this stuff and it sounds good, but it actually doesn't put us on this path. Excuse me. It actually doesn't put us on this path. The thing is, though, is what he's teaching about the darkness is actually. I'm out of water. Is actually good. So the teachings are good, but how we're getting there via this Kalki thing and see how bad I am? Yeah, it's just not happening for me. Talking about this Kali Yuga and well, you can be here, but the world could be there. That's not beneficial to me. That's not helping anyone do anything. That's clickbait. So I am coughing too much, so this is a good time to end it, as I said I was just going to. Let me just hit up the comments to see if there was anything additional. I would like to read one more comment that was by a young fellow who was commenting and then went to bed. He said, and we'll end on this positive thought. He said, in the dance of life, the soul finds its way. Through the whispers of the Gita, day by day, with each mantra chanted, peace we embrace. In the heart of Hinduism, love finds its place. I don't know where Blind World Gaming got that, but it's a nice way to end today's show. So, with those words, I'll say thank you all for watching. Jai Shri Krishna.